Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly Subspace Developer Sync. Today, we're going to get updates from everyone on the engineering team regarding what they've been working on in the last week and what they plan to focus on this week. As always, we will start with the core protocol team. Nazar.
Hello, everyone. Last week, we have finally finished the substrate upgrade. There were a few challenges with that, but we have overcome all of them. And after that, we had one more Rust update in the monorepo due to the CI issues with the documentation generation. It was basically failing due to compiler issue in the Rust, and it was fixed upstream. After that, I have extracted a few farmer-related components such that we can actually do the farming within RAM, for instance, when we are doing testing. So that will be helpful for many purposes like execution and other things on the monorepo side. And after that, there was also another substrate upgrade because when I was working on the consensus side, I was trying to do benchmarking, and turns out that the benchmarking was actually not working. It didn't compile initially, but when it compiled, it didn't work. There was an issue in substrate that was fixed, and we have imported all of those changes. And at the very end, cherry on top, there was finally merge of the erasure coding-based consensus implementation. It does seem to work. It works with DSN. It works without. It does produce blocks. So hopefully we'll be able to test it very, very soon as a team. I think that's it on my side.
Great. Exciting to get the erasure-based stuff in there. Shamil, how's a DSN?
Sure. Last week, I fixed minor issues like last metrics PR comments and farmer parameter check, and started importing blocks from DSN from the node side. The work is in progress. I also planned the next stage of the DSN work. It will be related to the object retrieval from DSN. So this week, I will continue working with block importing.
Great. Lu Chang.
Yeah, last week, the first thing was to finalize the codomain node prototype. After demonstrating the codomain node bundle production, I started working on the refactoring of this protocol implementation. There are a lot of refactoring work from bottom to up. So it's still a work in progress, and will probably occupy most of time this week. Yeah, that's my updates.
Great. Ved, how are things coming?
Hey everyone. Last week was mostly following Liu Shang's changes on the client side to connect with Relayer. All of the Relayer work is done. The next piece was the transaction router to route messages between the domains. I started working on that. I have a PR out there. Was that most likely going to be a little bit of infra this week for the internet stress test. And if that is not happening, then I'm just gonna continue on. There are a few more things that we need on the relay side. I haven't created issues yet. I'm gonna start creating them. Some tools that we have left over. I'm gonna work on them until we have a testable build.
Cool. Parth, how's you're kind of finishing up the onboarding stage. How are things coming?
Yeah, so last week I completed the write-up, and I started looking at domains, specifically different, how the domain tracker, executor registry, and everything comes together at the end of the week. After that, I have started working on a sequence diagram for the rough design of cross gateway domain. Yeah, that's the right word. Yeah.
Great. Ming, how's your onboarding coming?
Hi. Last week I had a lot of peer-to-peer meetings and finished the onboarding checklist. Also, I had a talk with Lu Cheng she had clarified a lot about how the execution layer work for me. Thanks for that. And also that I spent a lot of time to reading the source code. And I plan to continue doing that this week.
Great. Did I get everybody from core protocol, from protocol? All right, we'll move on to product. Arthur.
Hey, everybody. From our partner side, their Subwall team has released their dotinsights campaign, so definitely go on there and visit. Please obviously vote for Subspace to go up on the most loved projects. You can find us under infrastructure. So take your time, connect your wallet, and boost us. On the Subspace doc side, I've done some refactoring to upgrade us to the latest DocuSource 2.2. I've also kind of simplified our build process on that side so we can start preparing to push more docs in a much more simplified manner. That's it on this side.
Okay. Serge, how's the back end coming along with SubSquid?
Hi. So yeah, there were a few PRs submitted. One PR was dedicated to adding a workflow for linting tests and TypeScript for the squid, and Natasha added front-end part. And then there were two PRs with a lot of refactoring and unit tests for the actual processing of like blocks, balances, everything basically. And there will be a new one, relatively minor PR, also dedicated to testing, to adjust some test coverage and to add those like green, hopefully green badges for the repository. And after that, I will start working on some API which is still missing but required for the front end. That's all.
Natasha, how's the front end coming?
Hello everyone. Front end is coming along very good. Last week, I focused on refactoring a little bit more the front end. Also work on, like Serge mentioned, adding linting and coding styles for the front end, and also workflows for deploy the front end page. Today I'm completing the one minor PR to add deployed for staging on Netlify. And also I'll be working this week on getting myself used to the backend, to the subscripts, and also adding a storybook to the front end so we can have some sort of visual testing for that.
Okay. Yvonne, how's the CLI coming?
Yeah, on the SDK side, on both, I guess, SDK and CLI side. Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So on the SDK side, last week I focused on like polishing everything. Yeah, preparing for the stress test. So we finally added the license. We added docs for the SDK. Also, I added some MISC stuff like adding derives and some MISC things for the OSGAN for the CLI. So I also following updates from the monorepo and update the SDK correspondingly. Yeah, apart from that, I also worked a bit on the CI so that we could have more checks on more platforms there. Yeah, this week I will work on polishing everything, like adding the contribution guide, issue template. Yeah, maybe adding like balances retrieval so that we could show like nice info that we farmed, like some rewards on the CLI. Yeah, that's it on my end.
That's great. Ozgen, how's the CLI?
Changes are pretty similar to what Ivan mentioned. Added documentation, added license, added issues for issue templates, contributing, and code of conduct. We now have two new workflows, one of them for release, one of them for documentations. And now we are using all the fields in the configuration table for the node initialization, which is a good news, so that it can be tweaked by the user for more advanced node settings. And also, Jeremy, thanks to the bug you submitted, it was actually related to FS2 crate by the monorepo. But investigating that issue allowed us to solve one issue on the SDK side, which allowed us to solve another bug on the CLI side. So lots of indirect feedback loops. I believe we have a nice small ecosystem here. Aside from that, I think that's it on my side.
Great. Glad to hear. That was helpful. All right. We can move on to research. Should we start with Jeremiah?
Actually, let's start with Daria.
Okay.
What she misses.
Okay.
Okay. Well, on my side, it was a lot of code the last week. So I have something that have Nazar already mentioned, helped fix the bug that we were facing with erasure coding plotting. We were basically just throwing away the extra bits that the library was writing. So we solved that, and so now it's working. Then I was studying the paper written by ArcWorks library authors about pairing products as the way to commit to KZG commitments. And I have been dissecting their code to try to make it more suitable for us. And I had an onboarding call with Ning, and I explained him about our research stuff and consensus. And we also had another call with Dr. Chang Feng about the finalizing the consensus v2 design.
Great. Jeremiah, did you have?
Yeah, Daria covered most of it, but on the research front, we are trying to abstractly define and formalize some of the problems, specifically around an abstract notion of proof of replication, which could be solved through this erasure-coded proof system. And Chan has actually been pretty sick. He got the flu on his way back, and his family's been sick. So we didn't have a super productive week last week, but we're hoping to have more this week, especially since he won't be taking Thanksgiving. But yeah, I did work on some of that over the weekend, and that's going to be my focus for Wednesday for sure on the R&D side.
Great. Did you have any other updates you wanted to give?
Yeah, just that we are working towards our internal stress test for Gemini 3 in preparation for an incentivized phase, which might start sometime early next year. But we are getting ready to do some internal tests and slowly roll that out internal to our community for the non-incentivized phase. Otherwise, great work, everybody. I know there's a lot happening all across the board to make that happen and make sure all this ties together end to end. So appreciate it.
Great. I think I saw Justin was here today. Did you have any updates? Did I see Justin was here today? Maybe not.
All right, sorry, my headset died. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, hear you.
Okay. Right. So right as it was my turn, it died on me. Sorry about that. The community and marketing team had an offsite last week. We all got together. I remoted in, but the rest of the team were all together in New York. And we were really sitting down and trying to focus and nail down our execution plan and kind of game plan as we move into the next few months for Subspace. So we got a lot of good discussion between all of us, and we'll be hopefully having more details for you guys here in the next few days. But really, we're just taking this next few days now to kind of get a good execution plan together and kind of make sure that we can knock everything down in the orders that we discussed and with the same priority that we had discussed in our meeting as well. Really good offsite. We had Jeremiah there as well, and Lawson. We had a lot of good discussion.
It's fun. All right. I guess I'll finish up. I finished my first 30 days of onboarding. As part of that, put together some kind of observations and thoughts I'll be sharing with the team later this week. Also been working on kind of getting ready for the Gemini 3 internal stress test, getting the kind of launch plan in place. this week be more of that. Hopefully getting that up and running tomorrow, and then enjoying Thanksgiving. So that's it for me. Any final thoughts before we sign off? All right, we'll see you later.